He spoke in Mandarin to shame her, believing the language would hide his cruelty. But the real mistake wasn't the words he chose. It was assuming she was powerless. In the Orion, a restaurant where chandeliers glowed like frozen constellations, the night moved with a gentle, practiced rhythm. Guests whispered over $5,000 bottles of wine, and the staff flowed between tables with quiet precision. Among them was Lena Wyatt. To most people, she was simply Lena. A soft smile, steady hands, a calm presence that made even the hardest nights feel manageable. But tonight, Table 9 was about to change everything. Seated there was Victor Hale, a billionaire known for devouring companies, stripping them bare, and selling the remains for profit. His reputation entered the room long before he did. His arrogance filled it the moment he sat down. From the very beginning, he targeted Lena. He sent back his appetizer for being too cold, then again for being too symmetrical. He criticized the menu, the wine, and finally, Lena herself. He raised his voice just enough for everyone nearby to hear. "People like you," he sneered, "end up serving people like me. No ambition, no future, just a lifetime of carrying plates." The restaurant fell silent. Forks paused midair, but Lena didn't flinch. "I'm sorry if the service hasn't met your expectations," she said softly. Her calmness only fueled his anger. Victor leaned in, eyes sharp, almost gleaming. "You're wasting your life here. This is where people with no real talent end up." And then, with sudden childish cruelty, he slapped the wine glass from his own hand. A wave of dark red splashed across Lena's white shirt. Gasps rippled through the room. Still, she did not step back. She stood there, steady as stone. "Is there anything else you'd like to say, sir?" Her voice was quiet, but unbreakable. That calm terrified him. He barked for Collins, the manager, demanding Lena's immediate dismissal, demanding she be blacklisted from every high-end restaurant in the city. And Collins, trembling in fear of losing a wealthy client, obeyed. He even handed Victor Lena's full name. Lena simply removed her apron, folded it neatly, and placed it on the chair. Not defeated, not humiliated, composed completely. Outside, a black Lexus rolled to the curb. The driver stepped out. "Miss Wyatt, home?" Lena slid into the back seat, her voice suddenly colder, controlled, precise. "No, take me to headquarters, activate red protocol, and call my father." Because Lena Wyatt was not a waitress. She was the vice president of Wyatt Hospitality Group, daughter of Edward Wyatt, owner of dozens of luxury hotels and restaurants, including the skyscraper Orion stood in. That night, father and daughter spoke. And by morning, the reckoning began. At the staff meeting, Collins prepared to announce Lena's termination. But the doors opened wide, and Edward Wyatt entered, flanked by the regional board, legal counsel, and Lena, now in a steel gray suit, her posture sharp with authority. Collins went pale. Lena stepped forward. "My name is Lena Wyatt. I am the vice president of operations for Wyatt Hospitality Group. For 2 weeks, I have been working among you, assessing this property." Whispers broke across the room. She continued. "Last night, a staff member was publicly humiliated and assaulted by a customer. And instead of protecting his team, Mr. Collins protected the customer's wallet." Edward nodded. The legal team read the decision. Effective immediately, Collins was terminated. And in front of the entire staff, Lena appointed Sarah, the most dedicated server, as the new general manager. For the first time in a long time, the room felt safe, people felt seen. But Lena was nowhere near finished. While Orion closed for a full reset, Victor Hale's world began to fracture. Noah Pierce, his key investment partner, pulled $50 million from their upcoming acquisition. The media questioned Victor's leadership. His company stock began to sink. Then came the email, a mandatory lease violation hearing at 2 p.m. because the 30 floors Hale Technologies occupied belonged entirely to the Wyatt family. Victor arrived ready to intimidate, to threaten, to dominate. Instead, he walked into a boardroom where Lena sat beside her father, not as a waitress, as his equal. His confidence evaporated. "What is this?" he stammered. "What is she doing here?" Lena opened a folder calmly. "Mr. Hale, last night you verbally harassed and physically assaulted an employee inside a Wyatt property. Under Section 4.1 of your commercial lease, your actions constitute a material reputational breach." The screen behind her lit up. 6 camera angles, crystal clear. Victor shouting, Victor throwing the wine. Lena standing firm. Victor panicked. "No, wait. I'll pay a fine, a donation, a settlement. Just name the price." Lena shook her head. "You still think this is about money? It's about standards." She closed the folder. Hale Technologies has 30 days to vacate the premises. Victor collapsed back into his chair. He begged. He pleaded. He insisted thousands of employees would suffer. Lena looked him in the eyes. "Last night you didn't care about my job. You tried to erase me. This is the consequence of your choices." A phone buzzed. The CFO slid it toward Lena. "Your stock," she said quietly, "has hit circuit breaker levels. It's in free fall." Victor broke. "You planned this," he whispered. "You destroyed me." Lena rose to her feet. "No, Mr. Hale, you destroyed yourself. I'm simply closing the door behind you." Security stepped in. Victor Hale, a man who once towered over boardrooms, was escorted out using the service elevator meant for delivery staff. That evening, the headlines spread everywhere. Billionaire CEO evicted after assaulting waitress, who was actually the owner's daughter. Hale Technologies fired him before sunset. Meanwhile, in the quiet Orion dining room, Lena walked beside Sarah, reviewing new staff first policies. Sarah looked toward table 9, the scene of everything. "Should we remove it?" she asked softly. "Feels like bad luck." Lena shook her head. "No, keep it. But from now on, that table is reserved for the hardest working staff each week. They deserve the best view in the house, not the people who try to break them." She gazed out across the glittering skyline. A city renewed. The bully was gone. The house was clean. And the standard, it was stronger than ever. Because sometimes the person you try to step on is the one who owns the ground beneath your feet.